All right, I swallowed my gum. Didn't your dad tell you not to slurp?
I never went to CC's and got ridiculed for slurping.
Did you ever go to CC's with your dad?
I have never been to CC's with my dad. Not even one time. Not once. Not even once.
Is that something that's painful to say?
Should it be? I feel like it should be.
Just call
Isn't
him
that
up.
an experience that you should have with your dad?
Like, Dad, why haven't you taken me to CC's? I'm
Dad,
28.
How come I've never been to CC's with you? Now, I can honestly say that I don't think I've been to CC's with my mom either.
But you've been to Hooters with your dad.
I went to Bone Daddy's with my dad one time. That was cool. There was some girls there.
Anyways, so your dad will take you to Bone Daddy's, but not CC's.
I'm cool with that. My dad took me to Istanbul Grill one time.
Oh, yeah?
We had some kebabs. Steak kebabs.
I went to Cafe Istanbul with my wife's family. I think, like...
Was your wife there?
She was there. I think this was, like... We weren't married yet.
So it was
I think it was just after our first child. So, like... They took us there, and I had never, ever had Turkish food before. I was reading the menu, and I was like, I feel like these are noises that you hear in a cartoon, like Baba Ganoush is like some kind of wizard, you know? Yeah, I'm like, these are silly.
Yeah.
And I ordered a cheese pizza.
Oh my God! You ordered a cheese pizza at a Mediterranean place.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate, man.
It was good.
I bet it was,
but it had no marinara, so it was just like, it was like the pita bread with some like mozzarella all over it.
That was the cheese pizza?
That was the cheese pizza.
That sounds horrible.
It was all right.
There's no sauce?
I mean, it totally beat the alien food that was sitting in front of me. Because I had never seen... oh, yeah, I did order... I ordered some sausage, too. And it was terrible.
Well, I've never been to Istanbul Cafe or whatever the fuck you're talking about. But let me tell you, without a doubt, Mediterranean food is where it's at. For sure, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my family did not eat that. Like, when I was growing up, the only foods that we ate were Southern foods. Cheese. No, we had Southern foods.
Chicken.
Normal-ass foods.
Potatoes.
And Tex-Mex.
Tacos.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You ever had you ever had butter beans?
I've never had butter beans. What are butter beans? Please educate me, sir.
They're like, I mean, I haven't eaten this in like 15 years, but what I remember was they were like lima beans, but they were like 2 inches long. I mean, I was also like 3 foot tall, so could have been smaller, but they were huge beans. They're just like lima beans, and I swear to God, it was just like those beans and butter.
That sounds like a heart attack just waiting to happen. That does not sound...
my great-grandparents just
didn't care.
I mean, that generation didn't really care. You know, they weren't like faced with diet ads and danger signs, and I mean, they didn't even have nutritional facts on their food. I mean, they were born... Like, my great-grandfather was a kid during the Great Depression, so...
Yeah. Well, you know...
So they just ate everything with butter, it seems like.
And butter's a staple for many Americans, I would say. I think that, you know, to include butter in your beans is probably a normal thing. I personally don't do that. I don't.
Well, it was like, how do you eat squash? Steamed squash. Do you put butter in steamed squash?
I mean, I don't make steamed squash. I mean, but I'll eat it if it's made. So
okay,
like,
what about carrots with butter?
Once again, I don't really make carrot. I like carrots with ranch.
Okay, well, basically what my family did was like any vegetable you could think of.
Put it in butter.
You would steam it
and put it in butter.
And then put some globs of butter in there, and by the time it gets to the table, the butter's melted. You mix it up, and everything just tastes like butter. The carrots, well, hey man, everything tastes like butter.
I got nothing against butter. I think butter is delicious. I like butter. I eat butter on many things. Toast, cinnamon toast.
I don't know. It's one of those foods that's like every time I eat it, I feel a little guilty. Like I make sure I don't spread too much because I know it's gonna be good if I put a lot on there. But I'm like, come on, you're not that fat. You know?
Yeah, like you know, you want your arteries to like not be, destroyed by the time you're 35. And that's a normal thing. I mean, I think that butter in general is regarded as a very unhealthy food. I think most people regard butter as not the best.
Yeah.
For your health, not in terms of taste. In terms of taste, butter makes everything better.
Yeah. Well, all the best things come with butter. I mean, cakes, anything like that, it's got butter in it. You ever had a gluten-free cake?
I have, actually. I work at Sprouts Farmers Market, and there are gluten-free everything there.
And you like that stuff?
Some of it's good. Some of it is questionable. Some of it is downright disgusting. Some of it is bad.
I think the only thing I've ever tried was like gluten-free cake.
Well,
and it was I didn't feel like I was eating cake.
Well, you won't, and that's the thing about those kind of health products, or not products, but those foods that are prepared a certain way, right? So, like a big thing right now in the gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan circle socially is cauliflower-based products, right? So there's cauliflower-based pizza crusts, there's cauliflower-based Cheez-Its, and I've tried these. Now they're not bad, but they're definitely not Cheez-Its, and it's not, there's no bread or dough or anything. It's all cauliflower based. I don't know how they make it, but there's cauliflower pretzels, there's cauliflower Cheez-Its, there's cauliflower pizza crust, there's cauliflower everything. I don't know how they do it, but they do it. It's not bad. I will say that the pretzels, man, they are questionable. Like, you got to be really fucking hungry to eat some cauliflower pretzels and not like, oh, but.
You mean like the little crunchy pretzels? Like the
like pretzel sticks, like
old gold.
Yes.
How do you mess up that? It's like a burnt piece of.
Let me tell you how you mess it up. You make it out of cauliflower, bro. That's how you mess it up.
I don't eat cauliflower, period. I've never liked cauliflower.
Oh, I love cauliflower.
Dude, but you know what is good? I hated them when I was little. Brussels sprouts are like my jam. There's a steakhouse, Saltgrass. They have the best Brussels sprouts. Like, they come like, I don't know what they do, man. It's like they chop them up, and then it's like they
saute them in butter. Or something. They put them in butter.
Oh man, they're crazy good.
They're in butter. I guarantee you they're in butter.
I would go there and just order that.
Well,
but I'm not gonna go there and not get a steak too.
I was gonna say Saltgrass is like, I mean, you gotta get a steak.
Yeah.
But if we're talking Brussels sprouts, I can honestly say that I've never had good Brussels sprouts. I've never tried them at Saltgrass or at a restaurant. I just assume they're not as good as the side that I would normally pick for whatever meal I'm getting. So be that corn or green beans or potato, whatever the fuck it is, I'm not going to get Brussels sprouts over anything else. But they may be delicious, and I just can't speak to that. Personally, I've never made Brussels sprouts. I've never bought Brussels sprouts. I don't think that I would ever buy Brussels sprouts. And really, no self-respecting American should buy Brussels sprouts. What are you thinking? What's going on in your life that you think that's okay?
I buy Brussels sprouts.
You do not buy Brussels sprouts.
I get the frozen bag.
You're a liar.
No, dude. You get the frozen bag, and then you steam them, and then you put them in a bowl and throw some butter in there.
Dog.
Like, that's exactly what I do.
Don't tell me that.
It's good, man.
No.
Yes. Try any vegetable steamed and then just covered in butter.
Well, yeah. I mean, anything covered in butter is delicious.
Isn't that funny, though, how, like, my great grandparents great grandparents like have influenced my everyday eating habits.
Well, yeah, I mean, they raised your grandparents, who raised your parents, who raised you.
No,
it's not that far of a stretch to think that they've.
I know, but your grandparents might not have done that. So like I'm going through my life. I'm like, yeah, I've done this all the time, but it might be weird to someone.
Eating Brussels sprouts or being influenced by your grandparents?
Eating vegetables with butter, because it's like kind of
taboo.
No, just like one cancels out the other.
Well, if you're eating vegetables to be healthy, then you're not going to put them in butter, and if you're eating butter, you don't give a fuck about being healthy, so it doesn't matter.
So why the fuck were we eating carrots?
Well,
or butter beans?
Bro, I eat carrots.
They're all good vegetables for you, but they've been steamed and soaked in butter.
I don't think that it cancels one. I don't think that they cancel each other out necessarily. I think that butter is objectively bad for you, and probably beans are objectively good. And objectively, fuck, man, I don't know. I don't know what else I can add to this topic.
What started this?
I don't even know. I'm not sure.
I think butter beans. I don't know why.
It doesn't matter.
Istanbul.
Who cares?
Yep.
I don't know. We were talking about CC's and how my dad never took me to CC's. And I just want to say, when it comes to CC's, what a great business model. Oh my God. Can you imagine just before CC's existed, if someone was like, you know what we should do? We should have all you can eat pizza.
You don't think that existed before CC's?
Fuck no, dude.
I mean, I can't think of any other franchises that do that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not Pizza Hut had like a lunch buffet. I don't know if they still do it.
That was like salad. That wasn't pizza.
They had like pizza too.
Nah, dog. No.
Sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. I mean, I'm not positive, but I mean, in my own life experience, I've never seen Pizza Hut have pizza on a buffet anywhere at any time, be it lunch, dinner, or breakfast, if Pizza Hut's even open for breakfast. It should be. No one should be able to decide what food you eat at what time of day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, it's all semantics.
Unless you're in boot camp.
Yeah, you're right about
Lick
that.
a biscuit and get out.
Goddamn, son. Yeah. Eat that egg. That's it. You better.
I trained myself. I learned how to like prepare my meals. Like, you know how much time you have to think about what you're going to eat. I planned mine out. So what I did was I would get a biscuit, and then they had cinnamon apples. And
y'all had cinnamon apples?
I think we had cinnamon, something like that. I think we had cinnamon apples. So anyways,
I didn't have cinnamon apples.
So I would get a biscuit, I would get the cinnamon apples, and I think I would grab honey. Something like that. And what I would do was like, I would get a cereal bowl.
Like that
and apple jelly. I would get a cereal bowl and not get cereal. And I'd get that biscuit, put the apples in there and honey, and I would mix that shit. And I fucking eat it real quick so I can get up and get out. That's all I would eat though for breakfast.
That's not what I did.
Because I got stuck being what was called a water monitor. So like, I was one of the first people in for my flight. And then I had to go in the kitchen and I had to start pouring cups of water for everybody in my flight. And so I had to make sure that everyone got water. So last guy who goes by, I give him his water, and then I can go and get my food. And so I was the last guy to eat. Therefore, I had even less time.
Right.
So I just learned how to do it. I was like, I mixed that crap up, and then I had like 3 glasses of water. You had to like drink all 3 glasses of water, flip them upside down, and then you had to do all some other crap before you could even get out of your seat. But I had that shit down to a science.
It wasn't like that for me. The Air Force and the Army is very different, I guess.
Just to clarify, I'm Air Force.
Yeah.
He was Army.
For clarification, yeah. For me, for me, breakfast was we had to do some weird things, like you get your breakfast tray, right? You've got your tray that's got like the slots, right? The entree slot, the side slot, the slot, the slots, right? So you get your tray, it's got the compartments, and then you have to hold your tray up against your face like this. It's got to be up against your face. Like you got to be it's got to be up against your face. You can't do nothing. And
like
so
you just look over it?
No. Well, yeah, you can look, but you got to hold it like that up against your face when you're in line. And you go through line and you tell them what you want. And they usually got different choices. There's, I don't even know, hash browns, biscuit, whatever. You make your choices. You go sit down. Well, I take that back. You make your choices, then you go to the salad bar. Then you go to the drink station. And then you go sit down.
Oh, did they have the dessert thing right there in the middle too?
We had.
Or you just look at like somebody was gonna fuck up and try to get one.
Yes.
And they would just rip them up.
Yes. We had the dessert. We had the ice cream dispenser. We had we had all the desserts right there, and you could not fucking get.
Did somebody try to do it?
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Oh my god. Well, because the thing is, like
when
we went in there were people that were later on in the boot camp, and they'd be in their last week. So you'd see people sitting over there with
eating dessert,
ice cream and shit.
Dessert. Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay.
That's exactly
I didn't
right.
do it.
I didn't do it either. I
wasn't
knew.
in the mood for dessert.
Well, I knew for a fact. I knew for a fact that if I went and got that ice cream, I was going to get reamed. I don't know if it was going to be by my drill sergeant or by somebody else's sergeant or by the cafeteria people, but I knew for a fact that there was no way that I was going to be consuming some kind of dairy dessert at any point in my career there in boot camp. But there were the unfortunate few who sadly decided that they wanted some ice cream with their dinner. And those guys, man, those guys got it bad, bro. Oh my god. I remember one guy, it was bad too because the drill sergeants were trying to trick us, and it was a holiday because I went to boot camp over Christmas and Thanksgiving, yeah. And it was the Thanksgiving holiday, and they were trying to trick us, and they were like, yeah, it's Thanksgiving holiday, it's a special day, whatever, you can get dessert. And this stupid fucking guy, his name was Briggs. I'll never forget Briggs. Oh man, he smelled bad too. He never showered because he didn't like taking cold showers. Anyways, Briggs went up there. He got himself two ice cream cones with the soft serve and everything, and he started eating one, and the drill sergeants were like, oh, how's that taste, Briggs? Is that good, Briggs? You want some more of that ice cream, Briggs? Go get as much as you want, Briggs. Blah, 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 blah. Man, we got outside and it was raining that day. I'll never forget. It was raining. And they said they had everybody in the company go outside and watch Briggs do push-ups and sit-ups until he couldn't. And he wasn't even like athletic at all anyway. So he was. Yeah. It was bad, but he did like 20, 30 push-ups and he was done. Muscle failure. He couldn't do any more. And we had to sit out there for a fucking hour and a half, man. We watched him just fail at doing push-ups and sit-ups.
That's interesting.
Because he had the fucking audacity to get a fucking ice cream cone.
Man, when somebody jacked up when I was in boot camp, like everyone paid for it.
No, yeah, definitely. It
didn't matter how small it was. Like
that was how it was in the beginning. But near the end, it was more about individual choices. So, but for that day, all eyes were on Briggs. Briggs was the one because nobody else besides Briggs got the ice cream. It was only Briggs. He was the only one dumb enough to do it. Nobody else got it. No one. Not one person. I mean, and they were advertising that shit too. They were like, go ahead and get it. Get it. It's there for you. I mean, they put signs up and everything. Like, here you go. Like for real. Somebody typed it up on a fucking computer. Laminated that shit. Put it on the ice cream maker. You can only have one. You can only have one ice cream cone. I mean, they were advertising. And Briggs was the only one. That poor guy.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like,
But boot camp is ridiculous anyway.
I think boot camp was the biggest cultural teaching experience that I've ever had. I think military taught me a lot, but boot camp, I had never been around
people
that many grown men.
Yeah,
it's usually dad in the house or a coach,
kids
teacher,
at school.
but it's like it's you and 49 other grown ass men, and you get to see them terrified. What happened? Like, 'cause like the first 2 weeks, you're a fish out of water, and you're scared to ask for anything. You just don't know what the fuck to do. Like, you're just trying to do what they say.
You're just trying to.
So like when it comes to I've got to pee, you don't know what to do apparently.
Because there's this train.
We were standing in formation, and the drill instructor was talking about something. He had us all stand in formation so he could talk to us. And this dude beside me, this grown ass man, like just stone faced, like, because you're kind of looking around and stuff. I mean, that's the most you can do when you're at attention. If you don't want to listen to the drill instructors, just look around. And I'm looking beside me, and this dude's just like cold sweats going down his face, and I'm like, "What's going on with you?" And I look down,
you know what that is.
And there is a pool of piss. Coming at my boot. And then, I said, "Drill sergeant." It's like, what? It's like, permission to move out of the puddle, sir? I don't know why I asked him that. That was the dumbest thing. He's like, what the f*** are you talking about? And he goes over there. He's like, did you just piss yourself? He's talking to the dude beside me, and I'm just like standing there. He's like, go to the damn bathroom. Y'all can ask to go to the fucking bathroom.
Yeah.
What are you, kids? But it's just like, man, like, because
you're grown, man,
like
you're scared.
And the dude next to me, he looked like a tough guy. Like,
I'm sure.
He looked like he grew up in Agtown or something. Like,
I believe it.
Tough dude. Like, he's up until that point. If I had seen him, like,
in
the bays or something,
he's fuck with that guy.
Yeah, behind closed doors, and the drill sergeant's gone. They're talking like, yeah, man, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, fuck that.
But then the next morning, they're pissing
their pants,
and we had one dude crap the bed too.
Oh yeah,
he crapped in his bed.
Well,
I think he was afraid. He was afraid of ambush. Because it took us a while to figure out how ambushes worked. So what an ambush was you go to bed at like 9 o'clock, and then it would seem like at a random time in the middle of the night, these sergeants would bust in there screaming, flipping beds and stuff.
Right.
But what I figured out eventually, it was like Thursdays at 4 a.m.
Right.
It's so funny, like when you get to the end of boot camp, you kind of see everything becomes transparent. Like,
drill sergeants have a schedule.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is, like, it's funny because you figure out that it's all it's a joke.
It is.
It's to them. It's a serious thing, but it's like what you find out is like, you just saw this sergeant scaring the hell out of some grown dude. Dude's crying. He's screaming at him, spitting in his face. Not really spitting, but and they'll turn around, walk down the hallway, and laugh their asses off.
Of course.
And you're like, you don't realize that. You're not able to even realize that until you're further along, until you've chilled out, because you're just like a scared rabbit at the beginning. You don't have time to think, really.
Well, I agree. I think that that's primarily how it works that's primarily how it works for most people who go through boot camp. But see, I was lucky. I had people like you before I went in, and my dad, who went through Navy boot camp way back when, and my grandfather, who went through Army boot camp way back when. Everybody told me, look, boot camp is a mental game, right? It's a mental thing. They're gonna tell you to do this, they're gonna tell you to do that, but at the end of the day, everybody, it's a game. And I went in with that mindset, so I knew going in. I was lucky, because not everybody was like that, but I was lucky. I went in with that mindset, knowing that none of this matters. This is all a game, and all the BS that they're trying to make you do or make you believe or whatever is just BS, right? Yeah. But I will say this, as far as pissing your pants goes in boot camp, that is a common occurrence. That's something that happens a lot, because and I'm there. I get it. you know, I understand being scared to ask your drill instructor anything. I get it. I get that fear. And it's not a fear that is palpable, but it's a fear. It's a subconscious fear. It's like, what do I say? How do I say it? He's going to say no. I don't know what it is, but I understand it. What I don't understand is actually pissing your pants. I'm sorry, but in boot camp or anywhere else, there is no time whatsoever at all for any reason that I'm going to piss my pants for any reason. All right, I'll walk out. I will walk to the goddamn bathroom, and somebody can try to block me off and stop me, but I'm gonna go to the bathroom, or I'm gonna pull my pants down and I'm gonna take a shit right then and there. But I'm not gonna shit my pants or shit my bed or piss my pants in front of fucking 40 grown ass men who I have to live with for the next 2 months.
God,
can you imagine?
I would love to sit down with a drill instructor just to. They gotta have the funniest stories.
Oh my god,
they gotta have some terrible ones too. Like there's some really
stories.
There's some dumb stuff that happens in there. There's a lot of people that take the whole thing the wrong way. So like you're intended to be scared, right? Mm-hmm. It's intended to suck.
Yeah,
you know, which is funny because I had no idea what I was walking into. I approached boot camp in my mind. I didn't research it. I didn't look into anything. In my mind, I was going to summer camp.
Yeah,
which is silly.
That is silly. That is straight up silly, bro. That is silly.
I forgot where I was going with that.
Well,
I'd love to like pick their brain and whatnot. Oh yeah, the bad part about it. Some people don't take it the right way. So like, instead of out of fear, they learn to that fear would discipline them. You know, you're like, well, if I'm getting in trouble, I need to fix what I've done. Some people will take that demeaning yelling in their face and they'll get depressed.
Oh yeah,
because I mean, when I was
that's very common too.
There was a dude in my flight who was taken away.
Yeah,
and
yeah, that happened.
I don't know if he was arrested or what. He went crazy, dude.
Yeah,
and I think he threatened to kill himself or something like that. And there was another dude a couple months I'd heard about, like a couple flights before me, who like jumped off the balcony or something. So like there were stairs outside because y'all had to do the fire drills, right? I don't know how y'all's buildings were set up. Ours were like 3 stories tall, and
we weren't like that.
So
we had 1-story buildings. We were in the ghetto though. Our barracks were super ghetto.
Where did you go?
Well, I was in Fort Jackson, but I was in the part of Fort Jackson. My company, my flight, not flight. I don't know why I said flight because you said flight.
Well, flight for us was like us 50 guys. That was a flight.
Yeah, no, our whole battalion was in the ghetto of Fort Jackson, South Carolina, because they were building new barracks, and so we were housed in the temporary barracks. So everything was temporary. It's like the trailer park of the Army, basically.
So they were like temporary buildings, like you would see at school,
like a warehouse. Yeah, just like that, just like you would see at school, but bigger and 2 stories. They were all 2 stories.
That's interesting.
It was pretty weird. Anyways, continue. He tried to kill himself. The guy you're talking about.
Yeah. So some dude jumped off the 3rd story stairway.
Right.
And broke both of his legs, and I'm pretty sure that he was sent to the brig for that. Well, they didn't kick him out. They didn't let him go on a medical waiver. I think he went to jail for damaging government property.
Because he is government property.
Yeah. That's one thing that got to my head too.
Yep.
I was like, I remember like when I was stationed in New Mexico, I would walk like the city of Clovis has some pretty ghetto spots. And I mean, it would be 1 a.m. and I would just walk the streets. I'd be talking to a girl, or I would just walk the streets. Mm-hmm. And I was like, nobody is going to fuck with me.
Right.
Because I'm government property.
That's right.
Like, what am I going to do if they come to mug me? I'm going to be like, yo, do you want to go to prison for life?
Yeah, really, dog? You trying to mug me?
Like, I don't know why I thought that way. Maybe it's just because I was young. I was 18. But I was like, I thought I was just invincible.
You were invincible. Yeah.
I didn't think that I could do damage to somebody. I was just like, but if you do something to me,
you can't do shit to me.
Fucked.
Yeah.
Which is not a good excuse to go just walking down the street.
It's not going to protect you. It's not going to protect you from a mugger.
Especially like the demographic there. What was going on in Clovis at that time was the locals did not like military. Because I almost want to say there's about just as many military on that base as there were like people in the city.
Mm-hmm.
It was small, but apparently they didn't like us. So
well, you know, the place that the base is in is always deeply affected by the base being there, right?
Yeah. Well, also there's only one bar. So imagine going to the bar every time and there's nothing but military dudes in there.
That's insane that there's only one bar.
One bar. Well, there's one bar in Clovis.
And then
there's another town about 20 minutes down the road called Portales, and I think they had a bar, one bar. So there were two bars within like a 2-hour driving radius.
That's not enough.
And like the nearest club,
somebody's got to do something about that.
Dude, the nearest club was in Lubbock, Texas.
Ooh.
So 2 hours drive.
Well, I think that
is it all loose?
I think that, you know, when it comes to military towns or, you know, where the bases are at, you kind of need to prepare ahead of time in terms of let's build a couple bars, okay? Because 1 or 2 is not enough. Yeah, I'm sorry, but that is just not enough. But, you know, it's funny. The bar scene, you know, when in a town that's got a military base, the bar scene is riddled with I don't want to say it's riddled with the women with an agenda. Okay,
I mean,
women with an agenda. What I mean by that is women who are looking for someone to pay them bills, right? Looking for a baby daddy, because they know the military is going to take care of them, especially if he's in the military or making a career out of it or whatever. Riddled, they're everywhere.
I don't know about all that. I mean, yeah, I've heard of stuff like that.
That's what I heard.
I mean, I've witnessed situations like that, but it's not that common. It's really not.
Well, from what I heard from other people in South Carolina where I was at, that was a very common thing. But back to, you know, your point about you know, government property being damaged. Yeah, dude. I mean, we had people, you know, in my boot camp that were not depressed or suicidal before they went to boot camp, but I swear to God, like, just being there made them want to kill themselves. I mean, like, and it wasn't even because we were doing something hard, you know, it was just not having control over your life in the way you used to. I guess I don't know what it was, but there were people,
that's definitely
people just straight up cracked.
Yeah,
there were people.
Well, I think that's what really cracks people. I think that's the defining thing right there. Not having control, over yourself.
When you wake up, when you go to sleep, what you do, when you do it, where you go, how you do it, because you got to walk a certain way, bro. You know, you got to wear a certain shirt. You got to tie your boots a certain way. You got to have your locker in order. You got to make your bed a certain way. You got to do all this. And I think that some people just can't do it. You know, it's kind of sad. There's a lot of people that got medical waivers from, you know, that I knew in boot camp because they were depressed or whatever. And it's not that they're depressed in general. It's just that they couldn't cut it. They wanted a way out. They wanted to get out. And the only way out is to get kicked out or to get a medical waiver. That's it.
Or serve your time.
Oh, yeah,
or budget cuts, in my case.
Well, I'm talking about boot camp.
Oh, boot camp.
Boot camp.
I mean, you can fail your PT test. It's that easy.
Well, in the Army, if you fail your PT test, you go to fat camp.
Really?
Yeah, they send you to fat. You don't get to just get out. We call it fat camp. We should.
I don't know exactly what happens, but I remember if you didn't pass your PT test, you didn't graduate. I don't know what happens past that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you'll become like a servant or something for a little while. I know if you had like a medical waiver, if you got hurt, if you were
like a butler,
like a
butler, go clean this rack.
Yeah, I remember hearing about people that would they get hurt at boot camp, but they they were still expected to graduate, I guess. So the injury wasn't too bad. Like maybe they got the flu or something. So they would go to they go to med call or something, and they would lay in a hospital bed. And then what would happen when they got better, they would be put on like a
light duty
menial job. Yeah. Like they gotta sweep outside all day and mop until a flight comes in that they can join.
Yeah.
So
same way in the Army. It was the same way.
I always hated those duties. Like they would come around.
Those are the worst, dude. Those are fucking worst.
When I was on active duty, I think when I first got to my base, when you first get to your base, you got to go to like an orientation camp kind of thing. I don't know. You're living in your barracks, but instead of going to your job, you got to go to this. You got to go through this program, and it's like to help you transition into your job. Right. So it's like all the stuff that you were supposed to be learning in boot camp that you were too stressed to learn about. Now you're going to learn about it,
right? Because
you're chill now. You're in a chill environment. You can actually retain that crap.
Yeah, and so yelling at you the entire time.
Yeah, because I didn't remember crap from boot camp. By the time I got to my first base, I remember I drove up and I was supposed to go to the hotel and check in, and I parked my car, and I had to walk like half a block to the hotel. And on my way, I'm in civvies, right? And I'm walking on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden, a captain starts walking my way, and he's in his dress blues. He's got this silver lining on his hat, and I'm like, "Oh shit!"
Scary fucking sight, right there.
Oh my god! Like this is the first experience where I'm about to I'm about to salute him, right? Right? Am I gonna salute him? And I'm like, I'm getting nervous, dude.
You got to.
And so,
or do you?
Not in civvies.
Yeah.
And so it was so funny. I'm walking up to him, and I stopped,
didn't you?
And I popped that thing up, and he just looked at me like,
"Get the fuck."
He didn't say nothing. He just like, what are you doing?
What's wrong with you?
And I was like, did I do something wrong? Like,
yeah.
I was scared to death.
I know that feeling.
But anyways, yeah.
Do you salute or do you not salute the first time?
No.
Ooh, that's scary.
No.
That's a scary situation. You don't know until
because you can be anybody, right?
You don't know until you've been in the Army, or you don't know until you've been in the armed forces. The fear that comes before saluting an officer, because it's a real fear. It's a real thing.
I don't know. I faced way scarier things.
I'm not saying that that's the scariest thing. I'm saying that there's a real fear of saluting an officer, especially the first time.
The scariest person that there is when you're in the military is your boss's boss. Like, imagine you made your boss's boss mad.
Yeah, I mean,
I was in. I don't remember what they called him. He was a master sergeant, maybe a senior master sergeant. But man, every time I got in trouble, for some reason, I ended up in his office.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude would rip me a new one for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, red-faced.
They got
on some vitamins that make his like blood vessels bulge out. He was like, I wish I could unscrew your head, fix whatever it is inside there that's so jacked up, and then screw your head back on.
Yeah, they got a way.
I wish I was a train that could run you over.
They got a way of.
Those are things he actually said to me, by the way.
I agree,
and I'll never forget.
I believe it.
This dude, I imagined him unscrewing my head, and so did he. Because he made the motions.
Of course he did.
And he fixed it.
But keep in mind, you're definitely not the first cadet that he said that to.
Well, you're not around cadets anymore. You're around like normal active duty people. So now you're just a pest. Like, who's this new guy that I'm already seeing who's already in trouble? Because I got in trouble for dumb crap. I wore the wrong colored socks to PE,
right.
PE, PT, or my sideburns were too long. I got in trouble for dumb crap. But yeah, so like the thing is, like, oh, you just pissed off this guy. Once he's done kicking your butt,
once he's done,
he's going to your boss.
Guy.
Like your shop boss.
That's right.
And then who's he going to? He's going to your sergeant.
And then that sergeant is going to.
And then your sergeant's not going to ream you. He's just going to be like, dude, I hate you.
Like, what the
He's going to be like, I never had a sergeant that like
why
disciplined me.
Why?
They would just like shake their head and be like, you make my life suck.
Dumb. Yeah. I don't know about sergeants and bosses. All I know is that whether or not you're in a position of power or a brand new person, the person reaming your ass, they're like the devil, bro.
Yeah.
And it don't.
And you can't do nothing but listen. And you better listen.
You can't do nothing. There's nothing you can do.
Mm-hmm. I miss it. I mean, I don't miss the whole idea of being in an institution. I really like my freedom. But I do miss how organized things were.
Organized. Yeah.
Like, I never got out of shape because, we ran 3K Monday, Wednesday, ran a 5K on Friday.
But even if you weren't,
I mean, and then like it wasn't. And if you wanted to eat healthy, it was like the food was there. The healthy food was right there. You didn't have to go out and get it and prepare it. It was right there. Every meal was right there.
Right. That's very cool.
And those are the things that like I suck at now, or the things that
were generic and commonplace.
Yeah, they were just like they were part of it.
It was a given. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally understand that. The thing that I wish that I would have done in the military is not break my hip so that I could still be in the military. That's what I wish. That was bad.
I mean, I have nightmares about being like
that was a bad thing.
Drafted or re-enlisted.
I wish that right now, if I could run a mile in a decent amount of time, I would fucking join again. Although with my injury, they probably wouldn't let me, but I would do it in a heartbeat.
I'll have like a dream like once a year.
I still dream about boot camp, man.
I'll have a dream once a year, and like they've shaved my head, and I'm being told what to do, and it's so weird. Like, it wasn't that bad, but I think that's just my subconscious saying like that I just hate not being in control of my life,
Yeah. I don't know. I think that, the subconscious mind is a crazy thing, Sometimes I have dreams, where I'm dreaming that I'm awake. Or I'm sorry. I'm dreaming that I'm asleep, but that I'm waking up. And my mind is telling me that I'm asleep. And so I know I'm asleep. But in the dream, I'm trying to wake up. Does that make sense? So I'm like trapped. So it's like sleep paralysis kind of thing, right?
No, that's what's called lucid dreaming.
Well, I lucid dream all the time.
Because like there's lucid dreaming. Like I've done the same thing when I was looking into lucid dreaming like a year after I got out. Because I just thought it was cool. I saw some videos about it, and they're like, yeah, you can, if you teach yourself how to properly lucid dream, you can be Superman and fly around the world. Yeah. And you can do whatever you want. Nothing can hurt you. And I'm like, dude, let's try it out. Like
that's a real thing.
I'm unemployed. Life kind of sucks out here, but yeah, let's try doing it good in there. And I tried it the first time I put the binaural
Binaural beats.
Yeah, I put binaural beats on.
Yep.
And I laid out with my arms to the side, palms up.
Right.
And I started lucid dreaming, dude. But I don't know. I think there really is something about training yourself to have control, because like I knew I was lucid dreaming, but I wasn't that powerful. Like I was like a level 1, right?
Well,
so it's just like I know I'm lucid dreaming, but I can't do shit yet.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean. There are levels. There are levels to it. So.
Well, one second. So like the first time I did it, right? I kept trying, right? I was like, I know I'm lucid dreaming, so I should be able to do something. And so what I did was, instead of actually becoming powerful, I just gave myself an ego and just said I was powerful. And so I remember I saw this like body of water, and I was like, maybe if I tell myself I can do this, I can do this. So I jumped in, and I'm swimming around, and I don't have to go up for breath. And it's funny, like the way I was swimming was exactly how you swim in Spyro. You know how like, I don't know.
You wave your...
No, like he just swims a certain way. So you go nosedive down, and then you run around the bottom and come up. So you're not really swimming like anything normal would.
Okay.
Spyro dives, and he's on the bottom. So anyways, I get out of there, and I find myself in this hallway. I'm walking down this hallway, and at the end of it, it's like super dark. Like I can't see nothing. It's like there's like a darkness like lingering there, and I'm like, that's weird. So as I'm going to turn around, I notice that there's like a figure there, like a man. It wasn't a man though. It was like this dark thing shaped like a human
entity.
Yeah, like a dark entity. And like I was starting to turn around, and I saw it, and I went back and looked at him. And he just looked threatening. And so I was like, what do I do? And then I was like, right, I'm lucid dreaming. And so I did this. I pointed my finger at him, and I went bang. And nothing happened. And he started coming at me. And I was like, my gun's jammed, you know? Like, it didn't work. Like, I'm supposed to be in control, and it didn't work. And he's coming at me. And I start trying to run, and like the darkness engulfs me. And then I try to wake up in real life. Like I'm lucid dreaming. We're like, all right, let's wake up. And so when I try to wake up, I can't. Like, my eyes won't open. And all I could hear, like I felt myself laying on the bed. I could not open my eyes. And all I could hear was my cousin screaming and crying. But it's weird because like he was like 12 or 13 at that point. But the screaming and crying was his voice when he was like 4. But it's like you I don't know, you can just tell, right? If you hear someone crying, you just know what they sound like. But it was so weird. And then like I'm like, what the hell's going on? I can't wake up, and all I can hear is him screaming and crying. And finally, like after it felt like 10 minutes, I finally was open. I opened my eyes, and I was like, I ain't doing this shit again.
Well, I have a very different experience of lucid dreaming personally. For me, I never tried to lucid dream. It was just something that I did on accident for a while. And I remember, and I'll never forget this, you know, the first time that I really remember lucid dreaming, I was having a dream that I was driving in my red Chevy truck. Remember my truck? The red
Nope.
the red Chevy. Oh, well, I used to have a truck.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Well, I was driving in that truck, and I became aware somehow that I was dreaming, that it wasn't real. And I decided that I was going to fly. And I was flying in my truck, and it was cool. I'm serious, man. I was in like a city, and I was flying in my truck, you know, going in between skyscrapers, and it was cool. It was very cool experience. And that was like the first time I remember really lucid dreaming. And after that, it happened a lot more often. And it was cool sometimes, and sometimes it really wasn't. Sometimes it was really bad. Kind of like you were talking about. Sometimes it was bad, like I had control over what I was doing and I knew that I was dreaming, but my dream had something else in store for me, basically, right? But what happens now, and this happens to me to this day, and it happens a lot, and it has to do with sleep paralysis, I think, and just sleep issues in general. I don't really know a lot about the science, but what I'll do, what happens to me now is I will be dreaming, and I'll be dreaming that I'm asleep and waking up, and I can't move. And then in the dream, when I'm dreaming that I'm waking up, I'll realize, oh, I'm dreaming. So I know that I'm dreaming, that I'm waking up from a dream. I know that. I know it in my head, consciously. I know it. But I can't wake up. I can't do anything. And if I try really, really hard, sometimes I can wake myself up for a split second. I mean, I must be deep in REM sleep because I can wake myself up for a split second, like real reality. Look around for a second, and then I'm back in the dream. Fall back asleep. I can't get out of it. I'm stuck.
It's weird.
I'm stuck in a cycle of dreaming that I'm waking up. And it's a very scary, surreal experience. And it's not something I would wish on my worst enemies. It's very bad, very uncool. And what ends up happening most of the time is I'll be dreaming, and man, I get goosebumps thinking about it. Dude, there's a screaming. I hear screaming, and it starts off real quiet, real faint and far away and quiet, and it just gets louder and louder and louder and louder until it's everything I can hear is only the screaming, just the worst scream you can imagine, just a blood curdling scream of just horrible screaming. And then I'll wake up, and if I go back to sleep, it happens again, and it happens again, and it happens again, and it happens again. It's bad, dude. I don't know what you call that, but it's intense.
I wonder if it's some sort of like defense mechanism that doesn't work. Because you know what? After I had my dream about that entity, the first thing I did was Google it. Because I mean, I think everyone's had a dream and they're like, "What the hell does it mean?" So you like Google it. What the hell does it mean if I'm dreaming about tornadoes? You're like, oh, something. But anyways, they always got something silly to say, so you find out that you wasted your time trying to look that up because no one can understand dreams. But what I did find after I saw that entity, I looked up lucid dreaming, dark figure, and it was crazy because there was a ton of people with like blogs, and there was conversation. They seen the same guy, and it makes me think. It makes me think that we don't hold the memories of our moms, dads, our grandparents, ancestors. Like, I can't try to conjure up a dream from somebody else. I mean, we just know we can't, but it makes me wonder, because lucid dreaming is special, obviously. You're utilizing your brain while you're asleep.
Oh, yeah.
So you're doing something different, but it's weird because if we're all seeing that guy, maybe we are actually accessing a memory,
something real
of something that was really fucked up in our past,
real,
like as a species.
I don't know if it's something that's in our past. I think that it might be.
Maybe it was like the first threat maybe it was the first real threat we ever had that caused an evolution in our defense.
I disagree. I don't think it was the first real threat we ever had. I think that when you're dealing with something like that, when you're dealing with the dark figure, because
or maybe it was the first threat that we had once we became powerful. We felt like we were on top, and then something came and maybe, dude, what if that's like the Neanderthal in us, and like the Homo sapiens, a dark dude or something?
That may be the case. You know, it's well known that Neanderthals and Homo sapiens interbred.
Or any other human. Maybe that was wiped out by some other species.
I think that it's something different. I think that what you're looking at when you see that dark figure, or what you're experiencing when you see that dark figure, is not the ancestral memory of a traumatic event or whatever. I think that it's a manifestation of a very real thing that exists here and now. And I think that when you encounter that figure, like you were talking about, the one that your gun jammed or whatever, you know, when you try to shoot him, when you encounter that dark figure, when you encounter the darkness of the human psyche, there are real present day things that make up that dark figure.
So you're saying that this is an entity that exists. It's not something. It's not a memory. It's something that's there.
I think that entity is your mind's way of making sense of something that is real in your life today. Not something
symbolism, I guess. Right.
I'm saying.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that when I have encountered dark and evil things in my dreams, and I have encountered many of them, I believe that they're real. Not in the physical sense, but in the, human consciousness is beyond scientific explanation. Nobody knows what this is. Nobody knows what we're doing. Nobody knows how the mind and brain connect, right? Nobody knows. We know that neurons in our brain equal thoughts, but there's no, you can't look at a neuron or a synapse, an electrical signal in your brain and define what that thought is to you or to anybody else, right? So nobody knows what's going on. I think that these manifestations of dark figures or evil entities or bad things in our dreams, I think that they're very real. I think that they're real in the sense that we have a certain view of consciousness. We are conscious in one way, and things affect us. And I don't know how it happens. I can't speak to how, the mechanism, but I think that our experiences today, here and now, are what bring these dark, evil, if you will, entities into our consciousness.
I haven't experienced it since I tried lucid dreaming. I haven't had it before.
So if you only lucid dreamed when you were trying to lucid dream?
So yeah,
because I've lucid dreamed many, many times, not trying to.
I don't ever lucid dream.
You've never done that without
trying to?
No,
when I dream, the things that I want to do,
I've never tried to lucid dream.
I tried to lucid dream, and to me, I can't really see it the way you do. To me, it is either some kind of inherent memory of a threat, or he's like a gatekeeper or something. It was like I knocked on a door that I shouldn't have been fucking with.
That's right.
And I'm not spiritual. Right. Like I'm not into that foo-foo, but I mean, if I'm going to be foo-foo, those are the only two things I could think of. If he does exist, he's like, he was there to tell me that I shouldn't be doing what I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
But, oh yeah, dude, I totally know what you're saying. And I agree completely. If you're going to be foo-foo, he's there to tell you to stop. Or he's there because you didn't stop. Right?
What do you mean? I didn't. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about the dark entity. The shadowy figure. What
do you mean by didn't stop? I didn't stop.
You did something that you shouldn't do.
Oh, so you're saying
if you don't want to deal with that dark entity.
Oh, you think it's karma?
No.
Or he only shows up when you're bad?
No. I don't mean he shows up when you're bad. I just mean that he exists in a more real aspect than you would be willing to entertain if you hadn't lucid dreamed.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying. Like, he's only going to exist by lucid dream, so I haven't done it since.
Right.
But maybe that was the point of him being so threatening.
But if he only exists when you lucid dream, he still exists. He still exists objectively.
Yeah, but from my perspective, I'm not revisiting that. I can pretend that he doesn't exist, or at least believe that he doesn't. Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Look, I'm just going to say it, man. I think that demons, call them what you will, that word might not be the best word to describe them, but evil things exist, man. And I think that the spiritual world is a very real place. I think it always has been. And I think we have a connection to it. I just don't think that, our day-to-day lives open those doors. But we can open those doors if we try. And sometimes we open a door we shouldn't open. And stuff like that gets in.
I don't really believe in like the spiritual. I think it makes more sense to me that there are more realities. Not in a sense that like if there's a parallel universe that it's different. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm saying like we're just, there's stuff going on here that we just can't see. You know what I'm saying? So like if you think about it, when you're lucid dreaming, if you're meeting somebody, right, like that dark figure, like what is going on right then? It's electrical signals. So maybe there is an existence through electrical signals. Maybe there's a world around us that we can't see. Because you can only see it when your eyes are closed, everything's turned off, and you're only using this one wave, right? So I think that's believable. But of course, we both witnessed some weird like ghostly crap.
Well, I think that consciously awake, I know I have witnessed some unexplainable, well, I wouldn't say unexplainable. I guess I would say I have personally witnessed some very, very interesting activities. I've seen some things that don't make sense if you are subscribing to the worldview that everything is material and all that exists is this right here.
Were they fleeting moments? Like, did they last as long as you took you to blink? Or did they you were able to witness them for
I was able
period?
To consciously think, whoa.
So you were able to look at this and think about it, and then it was gone.
I was
looking at it and observing
it. It wasn't like I noticed it and then looked at it and then it was gone. It was like I'm watching this happen right now. Like I saw. Man, you already know, dude.
Yeah, I know. You're weird about this stuff.
You already know, dude.
Like the most of the stuff that I've experienced has only. I think the longest experience was 5 seconds at the most, for the amount of time that it was in front of me, whatever.
Real.
Like happening.
Real.
I mean, and
it was real.
When I think about it though, it's like you have to understand. Like what was it? There was a SWAT team went to a hospital in McKinney the other day because someone called in that there was someone in the parking lot with a rifle. SWAT team goes down there, and all it was is a dude was putting his fucking umbrella in the trunk of his car. But it's like, when you see something, I mean, and that's with her like looking down and looking at this guy for a little bit, but most of the time people see things for very short amounts of time, so that's not a lot of time for you to prescribe what it is that you're looking at. Because most of the time when I see things, it's like that fast. It's like something went past me. I see shit like that all the time, and then I'm just like, okay, what that is I don't know. It's just like I don't even have time to process it.
You know,
or if I think I see something, it's like it's probably not what I think it is.
Right.
You know, because I've just never seen it before.
Your mind can make up certain things.
Yeah, it's just constantly trying to relate objects that are just familiar. Right. So that's why people see shit all the time. But like some of the things that I've seen, like I've sat there and looked at it.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying is I'm not talking about those fleeting moments. I'm talking about, look, man.
What was the longest one? And had you had anything but water that day? Like just,
no, I was not fucked up, and I was not on any drugs, and did not
sleep deprived.
No. There's no
too much video games.
Look, bro, I'll just tell you straight up. All right, I was sitting right here in this room that we're in, right here.
Yep,
and it's happened up here more than anywhere else.
Like half of my experiences happened in this room.
This room, I'm telling you, bro. There's something. So I was laying in that bed, not that bed. It was a different bed, but I was laying in the bed.
There's a bed in front of us.
It's not that bed. No, yeah, there for everybody listening. There's a bed in front of us. It's not that bed. A different bed, but up here. And man, I looked over to the hallway right there behind you.
Yeah, there's a little hallway, and then right back here it's like a staircase.
It's like a staircase and a hallway, right? And man, I looked over there. And there was a red-eyed version of me. It was me. And it had red eyes. And it was just
like glowing eyes or bloodshot?
They weren't glowing.
So just bloodshot.
Yeah, no, it wasn't glowing eyes. They were just red, like you smoked a lot of weed, like red, like red eyes. But it was me.
Transparent or like just solid?
Solid. No, solid eyes.
I'm talking about the body.
No, that was solid. Solid. It was me. It was me there with very red eyes. But not glowing red, not like a monster. Yeah. Not like that. But man, and he stood right there, and he started to walk towards me. And I thought I was dreaming. I really did. I thought I was dreaming. But there was no point in any of this from the time that I saw him to when it was gone and over that I woke up, right? It was all one fluid experience. I did not wake up at all. I saw him and he started to walk towards me. And I got out of my bed and I was backing up. And he walked towards me. And he got like right in front of me.
Shit.
Like right in front of me. And I closed my eyes. And I opened them and it was gone. But I was still standing right there. I was standing.
You give me chills, dude. That's crazy.
I was standing the same place I was. I mean, there was no waking up. There was nothing. It was all one experience, one thing. And and after that, I went downstairs and I went to my mom. I did. I knocked on my mom's door and I said, Mom, there's somebody in the house. I said, there's somebody in the house. We gotta go. You ask her. She'll tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't have an explanation then. I was younger and did not know a lot, or didn't know as much as I do now, or have the experiences that I've had now. That was one of my first experiences.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I thought it was real, and I didn't know what to do. And you know, all these experiences that I've had have always happened up here in this room. This room that we're in right now.
Yeah, I think the most memorable ones have been up in here.
This one right here, right now, where we are at right now. Where I sleep on the reg.
I remember like my favorite one because it wasn't like threatening. It was actually pretty cool.
Talking about the face.
No, not the guy. So Chris has a bathroom in this bedroom, and so like it's on the upper floor of the house, and there's one bedroom, and then the bedroom pretty much goes into the attic, but it's just a small door. What is it, like 2x2?
Yeah,
it's tiny.
It's tiny.
Is that the attic entrance? It can't be.
It is.
You got one in the garage?
No. You talking about that one?
Yeah. Is that the only entrance?
To that attic? Yeah, we have 2 attics. We have that
How do you
attic.
put anything in there? That door is tiny. Like I'm telling you, it's 2x2. There's no way you're packing anything in there. So anyways, we were like, what were we? 14, 15, 16? Yeah. I don't know, 16. And that's where Chris kept all his matches. So if we were going to
smoke.
Okay, I guess mom knows now. If we were going to smoke in the bathroom, turn the little fan on, we would open the door and the matches would be there, and that's what we used to light our cigarettes. So Chris was downstairs. I don't know what he was doing, but I was like, man, I'm going to have a smoke. And so I went in the bathroom, and it was storming like crazy outside. Like it was pouring down rain. Like, and there was a shit ton of lightning. It was awesome. Like I love storms. It was super relaxing. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a cigarette. Just enjoy this
for sure. Storms,
rain on the roof, whatever. So I opened that door, and the matches are gone. I'm like, what the fuck? Because you had like, I don't know if they were like I think you had matchbooks.
I had matchbooks.
Or were there matchboxes? I think you had matchbooks.
I had matchbooks.
And they were all gone. And I'm like, what the hell? And so I thought they fell. Fell off that little ledge right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I stuck my head in there, and I looked to the right. I'm looking down, and I'm looking down to the right, and then there's this huge boom, like this huge thunderclap. And I look up, and this is silly, this big blue, it was like bioluminescent orb goes from one side of the attic to the other, and it took it like a second. I watched it like that, just like whoops, just went right past it. Like I followed it. It was crazy. And like I jumped back. I jumped out of there. I slammed the little door. I was like, what the fuck was that? It was scary at first, but like I remember it vividly. Like I remember what it looked like.
It's crazy that, things happen like that, and you can't convince somebody else of what you experienced. Like no matter how hard you try or the details that you give, you can't convey that experience to somebody, especially to somebody who's never experienced a paranormal event before. And I don't believe in ghosts or anything like that. I really don't. I don't think that ghosts are real. I think that, evil exists and maybe it manifests itself in certain ways, but I don't think that ghosts, like dead people, are real. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
But man, telling somebody of your paranormal experiences, just no matter how good you describe it, you can't convey the experience.
Well, I mean, it's easier.
You just can't.
I think it's easier than describing a dream.
I don't know. It might be easier to describe, but I mean,
like a regular ass dream.
I don't know, man. I think that
and those last way longer.
the realm of the paranormal is such a subjective realm.
Yeah.
It's such a personal experience that it's hard to properly describe, like the feelings and the terror, because for me it's always been terror, just pure terror. Yeah. Just scared out of my, just scared, bro. But it doesn't happen very often, thankfully. It's not.
I don't know. I think the older I've gotten, I have pretty much prescribed logic to most things. Like I try. I'll think about things that I've seen, and I could try to make sense of it.
Try to explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like what I said. Like when you see things, like the other night, this is silly. woke up middle of the night, take a piss, and I walk in the bathroom, go in there, do my thing. I walk out, and it's dark as hell. And Ian's high chair is folded up, and it's sitting on a wall right next to my door. And I close the door behind me, and I look down, and there's a little girl with like long black hair and a white dress right in front of me.
No,
right
thanks.
where that, and
I'll pass.
I jumped back. I was like, "What the fuck?"
I'll pass.
And then I like rubbed my eyes and flipped the light on, and it was that damn armchair. But I was just like, it just made me think. Like when I see things like that, I chill out immediately because I'm like, okay, I know
that's not real.
That was a mistake. My eyes couldn't.
Your mind.
If you were to just all of a sudden go in a dark room, there's a little light, and then you see something, your mind is just going to do whatever it can to think of the first thing it can make of it.
Because
and for some reason, we always think of scary shit.
Well, I mean, we recognize patterns. It's pattern recognition, right? So if we have the preconceived notion of a scary thing, that's what we're going to think. Right? Yeah. And your mind is going to associate darkness, no sight, low visibility with scary thing, because that's what you've been trained to do by watching all the movies and whatever. You're just afraid of the dark. Every human is. You're not afraid of the dark. You're afraid of what's in the dark, right? But anyways, that's pattern recognition, and that is something that happens to everybody. I think that when you mistake a high chair for anything else, at the end of the day, it's still a high chair, and it never was that thing, right?
Yeah.
But there's a difference between that and the orb that you saw going from side to side in the attic, and there's a difference between that and what I saw, with myself.
Right.
Right. So you have to differentiate between those experiences with a grain of salt. You have to try to look at them as logically as possible, and I think that 99% of the time, people's paranormal experiences can be logically and rationally explained away. I really do believe that. I really do. I believe that 100%. 99.99% of the time, it can be explained away, and there is a reason, and it's due to the fact that you're a human, and that's the way your brain works. I believe that. I'm not one to go and talk about crazy stuff. I'm just saying that that 0.001% of the time, something's happening.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. Something's happening.
I would attribute that 0.001% to the fact that you got to think about. You got to think about what you are. What are you? You are a machine, and you are not in perfect form either. Like, just because we are the most evolved species on this planet, we're the smartest, we're top of the food chain, doesn't mean that we are a well-oiled machine. Like, your brain is a pharmacy, right? Oh, yeah. And who's to say that there's not hiccups every now and then?
For sure. For sure. I don't know.
And I think that
I don't know.
I would. That's my assumption. It's that some of the stuff that we can't explain that we experience is, just an inadequacy to handle a complex human body. I don't know. I mean, that doesn't explain, the stuff we don't know that we question all the time. I mean, that has nothing to do with like everything outside our realm. We don't see that we think about, because we do that a lot.
A lot. Well, I mean, as humans, you have to wonder what else there is, right?
Oh, what you are, or what this is,
or what any of this is. Consciousness is a very strange, very hard to define experience, and yet, every human ever has experienced it, and yet it's still impossible to define. That means something, right? That means that there's an inherent unexplainableness to this experience that we have as a conscious being.
Right.
I don't know, man.
You know what's weird is like I was just thinking about this. Is how we determine what life is. So like if you're, let's talk about how people, it's a flip of a coin whether they're for or against abortion, or everyone has, there are several different opinions on when you could terminate, stuff like that, because there's a question of when does consciousness come into play.
Mm-hmm.
When we think of consciousness, we really only think of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's like millions of other things that are living on this planet, yet we're the only ones that are worthy, and we're getting to the point where we're deciding at what point are we worthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, it's just like the sanctity of life. Right. So if forget abortion, let's just talk about dogs, for instance.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to.
Let's talk about dogs.
Just any animal. Like
Any
why
animal.
is it not?
Yeah. So
why is it not conscious? Why don't we look at that and see another person? Because it is obviously conscious. Is it because it can't think about the same things we think about? I mean, we don't even know.
Well, you know, one thing that you can say for sure is that dogs do feel emotions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and then bugs
now
can get confused.
Now, well, insects, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about bugs. Well,
scents can throw them off. They can get confused and mistake.
Bugs.
You can make a mistake. Are you conscious?
Insects and bugs they're kind of like plants.
So where does that come from, though?
They kind of do the only thing that they're supposed to do, right? Like that, like bugs do what bugs do, just like plants do what plants do, right? Like, I mean, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I don't know if bugs are conscious or if it's wrong to kill a bug. I don't know. But I'll tell you this. I know for a fact it sure as hell is wrong to shoot a dog in the head. That's wrong. That's wrong.
So what's the difference between
shooting
a dog in the head and crushing a bug?
Well,
because you think about it, I think we just don't attribute enough consciousness to other things. Because what about the dung beetle? It'll travel like 100 miles to bring a ball of shit to its girlfriend.
But to that dung beetle, that 100 miles is not 100 miles. That's just what it does.
Yeah, but you don't know if that dung beetle's thinking about what's going on for 100 miles, or if he's just reacting. We can't just assume that everything besides us.
100 miles is a human conception. That's a human.
It's a time thing.
Aspect. It's a time thing. Sure.
Measurement is only time. So
no,
it spent time, a long time. If you want to call it 100 miles, he spent a long time thinking about.
Maybe it doesn't.
The reason time. There has to be a reason to do that, correct?
It's a biological impulse.
So everything but dogs, cats, and other pets are robots.
I'm not saying that. I'm talking about
I'm saying like I feel like. That's how we view everything else. Everything else is a robot. You know what I'm saying? They're just doing their own thing.
Well,
they don't care about us. They can't think.
Well, I personally, that's not how I view everything.
Really?
Really?
What about your sacrifice?
The gecko on the door? Bro, I didn't do that on purpose. And I felt really bad about that after I did it, or after it was done. And dog, like, I'm not even lying.
I know.
That was terrifying. That was terrifying. That was horrible. And that's because
I don't know.
That's
what
a horrible
happened,
thing.
Go ahead and explain it. You can't just mention a sacrifice. Go ahead and tell me what happened.
I accidentally skinned a gecko in my door frame. I don't know how it must have just been. It was trying to climb up at just the right time, and I closed the door or opened the door, and I took its skin off, and all of its innards and insides were still there because it's a gecko and it's stuck to the door. It's probably still there right now because I didn't take it down. I'm not gonna fucking take that shit down. I'm just gonna go tell my stepdad and be like, "Hey, stepdad, there's a fucking skinless gecko on the door. Can you take care of that?" I'm not gonna do that myself.
Yeah.
But anyways, you know, what I mean when I talk about bug consciousness is that you know, I think that it's more likely that insects have a consciousness more similar to plants than to animals, right? Because first off, just by their size alone, their brains are too small. They're small. They can't. They definitely don't have a human consciousness, for damn sure, right? And the smartest bug out there, the smartest one, is going to go for food first. That's it, food. And then next, sex, reproduce.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it does. That's what they do.
I think that's
it.
I think if we're going to compare intelligence among all animals, I would say that the most intelligent would live the longest, right? So like a tree, I think the biggest trees might be the most.
No.
Well, because they're the most advanced. They're able to.
No.
They have root systems where they can communicate.
Yeah, but that's not
I think plants are probably the smartest thing that's here because they figured out how to last forever.
I think that plants have a consciousness of their own. I don't think that plants are the smartest things that are here. And I don't think that plants' intelligence outweighs any kind of animal intelligence.
They have to be the most advanced thing on this planet, though.
Definitely not. No.
What would be the most advanced thing on this planet?
For sure.
No.
Yes, without a doubt. Look at this. That's a laptop right there. Look at what we're talking into. Bro. Humans are the most advanced things on this planet, and you cannot tell me otherwise. We went to the fucking moon, dog. We flew.
I'm not talking
every
about,
sentence, every word in that sentence. We went to the moon is a testament to humanity's.
I'm not talking about
status as the top dog.
I'm not talking about with the aid of thousands of years of innovation. Trees don't have that. I'm talking about a human.
I'm not talking about
a naked ass human being
is way smarter than a fucking tree, dog. Yeah, way smarter.
How can trees live to be thousands of years old and a human can only live 100 at the most?
That has nothing to do with intelligence. How you're physically made up.
No, I'm talking about like
how you're physically
ingrained
made up.
in you, like your DNA.
Trees' DNA lets them live for as long as they fucking live.
Because they're a more well-oiled machine than we are.
No, not true.
Not true.
Not true.
So they just live long because they live long.
They live long because they live. Everybody lives a certain lifetime. I mean, biologically, this is just the way it is. So not all plants live to be thousands of years old. Not all trees live to be thousands of years old. Some trees don't live that long. Some trees do live longer. I mean, okay. That's what it is. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're smarter.
What about a fly? You look at a fly and that's a wonderment to you. They're more advanced than you because they can fly around and go do whatever they want.
No, fuck that.
You know I'm more advanced. But they only live for 5 days.
I'm more advanced. No, I don't believe that. The premise is wrong right off the bat from your argument because I don't believe that. I do not believe that flies are more advanced than me.
No, I'm saying
whatsoever.
No, what I was saying about the flies is I think that they are the least advanced. They would be the least intelligent. They don't live long at all.
The least intelligent,
but they're still a wonderment to us because they can do things that we can't.
What can a fly do that I can't?
What I am saying is that I think that the most advanced evolved things are going to have longer lifespans.
I disagree.
No matter, it's not about what cool things they have, the things that they can do. No, I think it's more about how long they can exist.
Well, you know what?
Because that's the whole struggle of the cosmos, right? Like how long?
Check this out. There may come a day when our technology is advanced enough to where we can go in with nanotechnology and make ourselves live inevitably. We can defeat aging. Now that's not because we're humans. It's not because we're trees. It's because
at that point,
we're smarter. Because we're smart.
Well, I think at that point that counts as an evolution. If you are changing the makeup of you are no longer a human at that point.
But you're not doing it through biological evolution. You're doing it through artificial intelligence. You're doing it through your intelligence, not artificial intelligence like AI. I mean, artificial intelligence in terms of like you're doing it through the learned processes that humans have learned to make this technology possible that can do that.
Right. Well, also, I just want to say, I'm not comparing humankind to trees. I'm comparing singular one person one tree. Which is going to live longer? Which is more advanced in
Depends
evolution?
on the tree.
What tree do you know only lives to be 100 years old?
Plenty of trees that don't make it. Their roots die. They don't get enough water. Something. Yeah. Plenty of trees die out before they get to be 100 years old.
Do they have to worry about not making it to 100?
Plenty of trees
die
out. It doesn't matter if they worry about it or not. Plenty of trees die out.
All right. Well, anyways.
I
thought it made sense.
It doesn't. I'm sorry.
It makes sense to me.
Okay, that's good. Because it doesn't make sense to me.
We don't see eye to eye on everything.
We see eye to eye on almost nothing, actually.
Almost nothing.
Almost nothing.
But we're
the best
totally
friends.
able to just talk about shit.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
So how many of your other friends have seen shit up here that you know of?
I don't know. I don't.
Because I think I remember...
I don't know.
The crazy kid was the Hyperman. You know what I'm talking about? It was Kendall. He had seen some shit, didn't he?
Kendall saw some shit. Yeah.
He saw the same thing I did, didn't he?
Kendall saw some ghostly figures up here. Now, I was never present for any of that. But yeah. Kendall saw some stuff.
I think there was one thing that happened up here that I can try to explain. I thought about it a few times because I'm like, it doesn't make sense. But then I started learning about some stuff and I forgot this stuff by now, but when I knew it, it kind of made sense. So anyways, what were we doing? We were playing NASCAR?
Yeah, we were playing NASCAR, bro.
No, we weren't.
NASCAR. We were playing
That's
NASCAR
not when that
with the
happened.
steering wheel and the pedals.
Were we?
Yeah, we were.
Were we high?
No.
Okay.
No, that was
Because
before.
I only remember playing NASCAR high.
No, we were playing NASCAR. We were not stoned.
Yeah, we were playing NASCAR, and then was it unplugged from the wall? It was turned off. Anyways, so there was a guitar amp up there because me and Chris would jam all the time. We were teens, and we're just sitting there playing the game, and like the amp was turned off, and then all of a sudden, what was happening? Was it just like white noise? It just started making noise.
It was like a radio station or something.
Was it a radio station?
It was like a radio station or something. Some kind of. It wasn't just white noise. There was some kind of. It wasn't just white noise.
Like mumbling or something?
I don't know what it was. But it wasn't just white noise.
Yeah, but I mean, it like stopped us in our tracks. Like we were pedal to the metal, and it stopped us because we were like, "What the?"
Now that was.
Because I think we like actually got down and looked at it, and we're like, "That thing's off, right?" Like, yeah, it's turned off.
That was a very unique situation. I don't know about that one, man.
I think that one's probably explainable.
I'm sure it is.
It's plugged in the wall, so
I believe it's explainable, but
because I don't think you need power. You don't need a power to make a speaker make noise.
Yeah, you do.
Are you sure?
I think you probably do.
Yeah, you need an amplifier, but the house could be the amplifier.
I don't know. I don't know. That one I would leave. I wouldn't call that a paranormal experience, but I also would say that is somewhat unexplainable.
I would too, because if it's turned off, that means there's a switch that is disabling current.
There is a disabling factor. There is a circuit that's not being completed.
Yeah.
It is not enabled.
But something was making it across that jump
and
to mumble at us.
Exactly.
While we were racing.
Something was making sound happen, and it shouldn't have been happening.
It was super trippy.
We
unplugged it, didn't we? We're like, unplug that shit.
Of course we did. And if I remember correctly, and I'll just to be completely honest, I don't remember that ever happening again. I don't remember that ever happening again.
I don't know. Everything that's happened has usually been unique here. I know for a while you had some trouble. I remember because you would come to school and tell me about some shit. You said that it happened for like a month or something. Because I heard you tell me about it several times. You'd be in there taking a shower. And where his shower is next to the staircase. So where his shower is like 10 feet off the bottom floor. Like his shower is right where the bottom stair is. But Chris would tell me that he would be in there taking a shower and someone would be, it sounded like a fist banging on the shower.
Dude.
Where the bottom stair was.
And there was no reasonable.
Unless somebody was fucking with you, because literally, if you were to want to do that, you wanted to make that noise on the other side of the shower. You need to get like a one of those pool cleaner sticks. And
I don't want to talk
like
about this anymore, man. I have to sleep up here tonight, dude. Okay?
I would never sleep up
Let's
here.
just not
I
continue.
would sleep on the couch.
Let's just talk about.
Should we just at least tell my last story about up here? No, we're good, dude. Another time.
Another time.
I've only got 2 left, so we could save it.
How long has this been going?
I don't know.
There's no way your phone is still recording video. There's no way, dude.
I have no idea how long this is. 2 hours. Is it really? Where do you see that? 2 hours? All right. Well, we got 2 minutes.
2 fucking hours later.
I really wanted to talk about Star Wars.
2 hours later.
I really wanted to talk about the new Star Wars.
Good night.
Next week.
That's it.
Bye.
We're done.
Bye.